welcome to Gamerena's 5-inch floppy. I'm Junglist. Confession time. We've never been too keen on the Assassin's Creed games, ever since that first trailer elevated our expectations of how many ways there weren't to evade guards, not to mention the simplistic combat, and the open world parkour system seemed like a step back from Prince of Persia. It seemed too casual, a non-gamer's game. But any game that fits the word ass into its title twice is at least worth a try, and it's so much fun to say the name of the main character, Ezio Auditore. Of course that's not really you. Your real name is Desmond, and you're strapped to a machine called the Animus, which lets you live out the memories of your ancestors stored in your DNA. But at the start of Revelations, you're still in the Animus, and you can't wake up.
Rebecca! Get me out of here!
Those monitoring you in the real world can't do much to help you, and it soon becomes clear that your work is unfinished.
Here's the problem. Your brain is hash. Too many ghosts in your head, too many voices. So how do you fix that? Finish what you started, until your ancestor has nothing left to show you. That is a sync nexus. And when you find it, the Animus can separate Desmond from Ezio and Altair and send you home, back to your body.
To make matters worse, your little companion here seems to know a lot more about life in the Animus than you do, and he'd love to get out too. Before long, it's hinted at that he wants your body. Not like that. I mean, he wants to own and use your butt. Not like that. Show the clip. So the Animus is now modified to let you think for yourself. You're still reliving these memories, you're just worse at separating them. And this allows Revelations the same plot technique as the last couple of games, in that it'll show you these events in whatever order will surprise and dazzle you the most. There are lots of nice little story moments with good lines.
Who are you, Messere?
Only the most interesting man in your life.
But Revelations is about answering questions, and if you're invested in this story, you might not like the answers. It starts to get a bit far-fetched when talking about a civilization that came before modern humans, the end of the world in 2012, and the nature of the Animus might make you say, really? In fact, pretty much anything not in Constantinople felt a bit shoehorned, which is odd because that's supposed to be the real stuff. But when playing as Ezio, the story is solid, which is a good thing because that's where you spend most of your time. Needless to say, once in the city, we did the first thing anyone does in an Assassin's game and climbed to the highest point we could. And promptly jumped off. And there are a few things in these games we suspect will never get old. This sort of stylized combat is all throughout the game. Far-out combos and one-hit finishers. Although Assassin's Creed is supposed to be about stealth, the idea being it's easier to hide in this haystack than fight those guys. But the franchise is still dealing with one big problem. What's the point of stealth when combat is this easy? In most games, you target one person in combat. In Assassin's Creed, you target everyone in the fight. This means holding block blocks everything, and pressing counter counters everything. And none of this is a problem because only one guy will attack you at a time. The counters have to be timed, but the window is huge. You can spam the button, and enemies have a flashing indicator over their head when about to attack. Which basically means you can do this, and this isn't a trick or anything. I'm gonna hold R1 and press circle for the entire fight. Assassin's Creed is one of the few games where you're actually more powerful in the gameplay than in the cutscenes. See here, you'd never see us being captured like a chump. Later, you do get tougher enemies that require different buttons to counter, or maybe a kick before your combo, but the toughest thing you'll come across is guys shooting you while fighting. Bullets do hurt. Revelations also lets you craft many different types of bombs, and the different casings, fillings, and gunpowder you use will change things like special effects and range. Ingredients for these will be scattered around the city and in the pockets of Templars you kill, and science has come a long way since Brotherhood.
I am not confident a smoke bomb will help us here.
Smoke bomb? Ezio, it's time you Italians joined the 16th century.
But we didn't really bother with these bombs for the same reason we didn't bother with stealth. Combat's so easy you don't need to. Some of them are tactical, some diversionary, and some lethal. But other than missions that require them, their usefulness is limited to role-playing. One effect all this easy play has is it makes you feel like the most powerful assassin on the planet, and as the leader of your guild, you'll have to look after its overall growth throughout the city. That means invading various Templar dens, packed to the rafters with soldiers and sharpshooters. Invading dens requires you to identify the Templar captain using your sixth sense, and then assassinating him. This rendered our usual strategy of foregoing stealth and killing everybody moot, because if the captain's a coward, he'll just run away. Not only did that make it the most challenging part of the game for us, it was rewarding slowly taking control of the city and seeing that reflected on the map. Likewise, the time will come for you to defend your den against Templar attack, although their methods are a little more blunt. This plays out like a basic form of tower defense, placing different kinds of assassins on the roofs, like crossbows, drop-down assassins, and bombers. And it's still pretty fun despite being unbalanced. Pretty much every wave is a piece of piss, until the difficulty skyrockets with the war machine at the end. As the underground war in Constantinople rages on, you'll also be responsible for your guild's financial health. You gotta spend money to make money, and renovating shops such as blacksmiths and doctors will not only give you access to their services, but raise your income. And when the time is right, you'll need to make friendly with the city's royalty.
Proud and capable, but ambitious, and he admires my father greatly.
All this guild management wouldn't be complete if you couldn't manage your actual initiates, and sure enough, you're responsible for that too. You'll recruit citizens hard done by the government or Templars.
If I can help others as you have helped me, I most certainly will.
And you'll send them away on increasingly harder missions around the Mediterranean, so they level up until they're master assassins and can command their own den. The coolest benefit to having these minions, though? Anytime mid-mission, you can give a hand signal and have one of your assassins come out and do some dirty work for you. It's as if they're waiting in every haystack, every back alley, every rooftop to pounce on your command. When you have enough minions, you can hold L2 to have them kill all the guards. All of them. Right at this point, the attitude here towards Assassin's Creed started changing.
Casual.
Sure, it's pretty damn easy.
One-button combat.
And because of that, whole elements of the game are made redundant. But we were having a bold bit of fun by this point. And this game does a great job of making you feel like an assassin king. The combination of meta management across the Mediterranean and your mid-mission murder mates really makes you feel like you own the damn place. We started to like this damn casual game. And if we were just a little bit on the fence before, a couple cool missions sold it. Even if the world doesn't force stealth on you, these missions do, and it's a fun change of playstyle.
What is happening? Is he in?
There's one memorable mission in particular where you have to infiltrate a royal party and stop some Templar assassins before they take out a prince to gain royal favor. Using your sixth sense to identify targets while entertaining was great, and the singing was funny too. And that brings us to Endgame. Assassin's Creed holds your hand more than any other game we've played in a while. One-button parkour all over the city, mashable combat, and a sixth sense that tells you where to go. There's a term for that in the industry, and it's pushing buttons to make rainbows. The act of putting in very little effort and getting gratuitous visual reward. In that respect, it deserves more criticism for being a movie game than Uncharted. We used to think Assassin's Creed was a game for noobs. Now we think it's a game for noobs. It's pretty damn fun, too. Society's laws prevent me from being an unstoppable killer in real life, but it almost doesn't matter when a game gets that feeling so right.